found a class where I could learn how to letterpress, and I walked into this woman's print studio and I was like, I have never seen anything so wonderful in my entire life. It just like felt like my home. We ran into each other a couple days later and she's like, will you be my apprentice? Like right at the same moment that I was like, could I be your apprentice? And it was the most magical beginning to what I do now. We lived in Seattle for about 4 years while I had this business, and then moving to LA, it has like been like a little slingshot.
It went from like kind of this business that we didn't have a plan for necessarily, figured out our pricing and our wholesale and marketing and that kind of thing. And it got to a place where it could sustain both of us.
I don't know what it is about the move. I think it was just like the perfect timing in my business, but then also there's just something about the energy in LA.
We have about 120 cards that are carried across the country that we wholesale. And then the other half of our business is all custom work.
We get either a plate made or a typeset, the design, choosing from some of our like vintage block collections, and choosing the paper, cutting the paper down. People choose specific Pantone colors of ink, and then we make sure it all matches perfectly. You put the plate in the press, and then there's these little guides that show where the paper goes, and you like fiddle with everything until it's perfectly lined up, and then you print a whole bunch of them. But you're also always monitoring that the ink is staying the same color, because as you're printing, ink is going off the press onto the paper.
When people actually come in and see their piece after it's been letterpressed, they can feel how nice the paper feels and that the impression, their design becomes a beautiful piece beyond just like, oh, it's a fancy card.
And the more our work gets into other people's hands, the more people are like, who did this? I just got an email the other day from someone who was like, I saw this person's business card and had to track down who made it. And that feels great.
It's a lot of work to be self-employed, but on the other hand, you also get to reap all the rewards and you're building something larger.
Almost every time I'm at the press, I think about like the value of the written word, because it's a lot of work to get it to print perfectly. And then you think about that this is the way that newspapers were printed, books were printed, pamphlets were printed. Anything that was printed on a press, much like mine.